I'm Mario Martinez Jr., CEO and founder of Vengreso, and we are the creators of flymessage.io, the free personal writing assistant and text expander application. On each episode of this podcast, you will hear from sales leaders, practitioners, and influencers to help you grow your sales numbers at scale. So, get your pen and paper or iPad and keyboard and start taking notes as you're now listening to the Modern Selling Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Korn Ferry. Korn Ferry integrates their consultancy, Miller Heiman sales methodology, and technology to bring you Korn Ferry Sell for Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. Learn more at kornferry.com/sales effectiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Modern Selling Podcast. And listen, I've got to apologize in advance because you're going to hear my voice. It's a bit raspy and also kind of sounds like I'm going through puberty one more time. So I lost my voice and I keep losing it every single week. For those of you that are watching my social posts, you know why. That's right. I'm coaching my son's basketball team and I can't stop yelling on Saturdays on game time. So I apologize if you hear my voice go up and down, a little bit pitchy and or a little bit high pitched, if you would. But I'm excited because today I've got my friend, Oleg Bilozor. He is the CEO and founder of Reply.io, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about some of the things we're going to be focused on today, very specifically talking about AI. That's right. How we can use AI in the sales process, with what should we expect within our tools and how it's impacted the industry. Oleg, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, Mario. Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you. So do me a favor. Just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, and then I've got a very special, important question for you.
Sure. I'll try to keep it brief. So I'm originally from Ukraine. At the age of 22, I moved to Canada, where I worked as a software developer or software engineer. So my background is in engineering. And at the age of 24, I actually realized that I want to more do startups and entrepreneurship rather than raw programming. And at that time, while living in Vancouver, Canada, I started learning business, started going to different networking events, and eventually started my first startup. Reply, it's my second startup, and it's born from not ability to do successful sales for my first startup. I realized that I have no idea how sales work and I need to learn. So I started by learning sales by myself. Since I was a programmer, I actually created a blog called Sales for Hackers. Sales for Hackers, and was trying to hack my way into sales with different tools and some sales hacks. And eventually I realized that I could build a tool that I really miss and I can't find on the market. That's how Reply was born, out of my need to send emails and follow-ups.
It just happened to be that you also were a programmer so that you could actually solve your own individual problem as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Programming is all about automation. So I've seen so many manual work I was doing and my colleagues or in sales were doing. So I thought it could be done manually anymore.
Fantastic. I love it. That's a great story. And do me a favor, tell us a very special question. Tell us something nobody knows about you, even if they're looking at any or all of your social profiles. And Oleg, I kind of think you're going to hold back on me. So I don't want you to hold back. I want you to give me something juicy and good.
Sure. I think it will be just valuable experience. I'm never shared on socials. I've shared it only with my friends and close ones. So recently I did 10 days silent meditation course, which called Vipassana. So for 10 days, I was silent and we were meditating in a group for 10 hours a day per day compoundly. It created like it's gave me really a lot since I have hectic mind. Usually I talk fast, think fast. So that thing allowed me to slow down. And as entrepreneur, I think I become much more calmer. And I would say that was a boot camp for me. I still continue like daily doing meditation, and it's helps me like in all, I would say, all aspects of my life.
So the question is how did you do work if you were silent? Did you not talk to anybody internally?
No, so it was 10 days silent meditation in Spain, in a retreat center. They take your smartphone, so you don't have access, you can't work, you don't have smartphone, you can't talk. It just they feed you, and it's run by the nation. So basically, for me as a for entrepreneur, it was amazing that for 10 days no one wanted anything from me. Yeah.
Okay. That would be the only way that that possibly would work is if you were put away and kind of just locked away somewhere where you couldn't get access to any of your materials
Yep.
or phones or bings or dings or I don't know what I would do. I think I would go crazy doing just silence like that's too much for me. I can't handle silence.
Yeah, Mario, for me it was really hard. So I do CrossFit, so I was saying it's easier for me to do an hour CrossFit than 20 minutes silent meditation. But then I was so surprised how I changed, and now I actually could sit without anything in the same pose for an hour with closed eyes and do not move at all, like for 1 hour. For before, it was hard to imagine for me. My mind would go crazy, and now I can handle it. And yeah, it's amazing to see this change.
Hmm. Well, that would be nice for me to have, especially with a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. It's
Yeah,
never a quiet moment inside the house. All
I
right,
could
I'll
imagine.
add to it that I don't bring much quiet time inside my house either. So, well, listen, that was a great. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that. Let's get into some meat here. There's the whole AI buzz everywhere going on. Chat GPT, AI, all these things that are happening that certainly impact the sales industry. So let's start talking about, since you guys are leading the pack with AI at reply.io. First, let's just more general. How has AI already impacted the sales industry?
I would say for the last few months, you're right, it's creating a lot of buzz, and a lot of salespeople start thinking, hey, how can we use it in our daily work? I would say AI been there for a while. Such tools like a Gong, we're using it to analyze like sales calls or demo calls, doing transcript, and there's other examples of AI tools that's been used like in CRMs to suggest to you some what lead you should talk based on some information. So I think it's been for a while, but with this AI being released to general public in a way that ChatGPT did this, so just giving access to everyone who could want to try it, I think it's created real buzz. And not and now I would say we see the technology ready. We have a really strong AI technology now, and as well we see the audience ready. People wanted this AI thing before. You needed to sell it. Now people craving for it.
No doubt, we are seeing it. People want it. I think a lot of people though are playing with it, and
Yep.
it's out of curiosity, right? The question is can it be sustained? And I still have some questions about sustainability, but when combined into a process, an application, a system, a tool, I think it can have a tremendous impact. So let's talk a little bit about some of the impact that AI tools have had on the sales process, and we'll cover the whole gamut from lead generation to closing deals. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I just want to continue saying, okay, people playing with this ChatGPT, and I think it's a great start. So people were playing with internet, with Google, trying to understand what's good at for. So I think from this play, a lot of like real use cases appear. For example, I've seen one person actually taking his notes from a meeting or from a demo and pushing it to ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to create a follow-up email, pursuing like how to follow-up email, convincing customer that there's the best provider to pick. So that's a lot of interesting use cases come from playing around with this technology. And I see, again, I see it's replacing a lot of work, especially for SDRs. And to be honest, I see not only it could be addition to SDR, but it could actually replace SDR. So SDR role will change dramatically. So if this tool could search for leads better than SDR, could better like sales development representative, if this tool could better craft email, could set better send follow-ups that will be personalized to that person and their like personality type, people will not be able to keep up with this, and probably sales role or SDR role will change to something more related to like actual human interaction.
Okay, you did a lot of ifs there. Yeah, if it can do that, if it can do this. But let's talk about the real impact that it's having on the sales process right now, because the ifs are the future potential. Yeah, but what about right now?
Yes, right now. Again, if we take out of braces the gong and how it analyze speech or analyze call, we see, for example, even in our platform, how our users use our tools and some external tools to craft better outreach emails. That thing is, let's say ChatGPT is really good at creative things and generating some ideas that would take you like some time to create. So I've already see some emails that people like send me, and they've been created by ChatGPT 3 or ChatGPT. Again, like I noticed it in my daily work. Someone, let's say, like recently, someone sent me email, and I thought, hey, this thing is not right, and they corrected it and basically stated that actually this email was crafted by ChatGPT. So I've already see it's kind of being used. So for speeding up sending emails, crafting follow-ups, or basically making a prospecting a lead. So for example, you could pass some information about potential prospect from LinkedIn and ask to craft personalized email. So that thing could craft personalized email based maybe on your value proposition. So it could bind to things. So I think right now it's a lot of different tools that's still really early and still really like raw, but even by using them, you could already see improvement in efficiency.
What you described is not necessarily something new. You talked a little bit about, adjusting your email based upon the individual. That could be personality-based insights. Yeah. Tools like Humantech, Crystal Knows, as an example, where you look at it and say, hey, Oleg, I might have my template where it says, hey, Oleg, ! But then personality insights data pops up and says, you know what, he's kind of an old school type of guy. So it'd be better if you just say, hello, Oleg, instead of, hey, Oleg, ! That's been around for a long time. Tools like Gong and analyzing conversation history have been around for a while, but a few years for sure. And we see other platforms like Chorus and I think one's called Firefly and a bunch of other ones that are out there that actually record and analyze conversation history. And then we have other tools that are helping you write the messaging itself. And that's where ChatGPT has really kind of surfaced. But the question is that scalable for a salesperson? And I would argue that it's not. Well, for example, I'm actually doing venture capital fundraising right now. And last night, I did 16 targeted individuals. We had to find who they were, figure out who the right person was to target based upon whatever might be similar. For example, maybe they have Latin heritage. Then I went through and found their email using a tool called seamless.ai. And then once I found the email, then I synchronized it to our HubSpot instance using a tool called Linked Hub. Then had to go through and add them to a list, and then had to fire the sequence. But when I initiated the sequence, in that sequence, there's an area for me to personalize. So now I had to actually have personalized insights of something that I might say that would correlate to the reason why I'm reaching out. I found everything from what they care about. For example, supporting Latinx and Black founders is one example where I brought that in. All in all, for 16 people, 16 hyper-personalized messages, doing it from the start, finding it, getting the email, putting it in the CRM, messaging them using a sequence, personalizing it. It took me 4 hours to do that for 16 people. Now, I would argue that that's probably too long and I had no distractions. However, at the same time, I was also researching the venture capital fund to make sure that they were a target, the correct target. That even though they said they did pre-seed or seed funding, which is what we're going after right now, that in fact, that they did pre-seed and seed funding with technology companies as opposed to pharma or life sciences, right? So it took a little bit longer than normal, but that's essentially what I had to do. Can AI today, sales tools, sales processes, can it improve what I just described and make that quicker, faster, and better?
Wow, thanks for explaining your flow. It's actually what I usually, that's how I build reply. So I was listening to what people do manually and was trying to automate it. And I believe that, again, with the tools we have right now, we could fully automate this process. And I love your comment on regarding if. I know this technology is there. So it's only the matter of like connecting all these pieces together, and it will take time. So basically, what you described, again, it's obvious that it could be already automated, starting from lead gen, finishing like customizing emails with ChatGPT. That could basically do sometimes better job than like writer do. Yeah, so my answer would be yes, that could be automated. The question is like fully. The question is when. At my company, at Reply, we're working on this functionality right now, and we only have some pieces. Again, we give users like few pieces. They not connected, that so we could do everything automatically, but we get into their basically setup where you could do all automatically. So recently, actually, one of our SDR lead, he was hosting a webinar yesterday where he was showing how to automate exactly the process you described, maybe not that much picky for like the 16 investors with like really detailed research you did, but he was showing how all this process could be automated with 5 no-code tools, starting from Zapier, ChatGPT. So basically, there is we're getting there, and there is already like something could be done. But I would say like, and you're right as well, saying the thing was before, like crystal notes, etc. But I think what we having right now with ChatGPT and with AI improving is just we increasing the quality of like AI tool and the whole tools. So before the iPhone, there was a person like there was a Palm computers, but iPhone isn't new, but it's just on an absolutely new level in quality, making it like different, right? So the same I think will happen here.
Yeah, I should articulate for the people that are listening and cringing over my 16 that I did in 4 hours. I should also articulate that I deleted 30, meaning there were 30 targets that I said, no, this is not the right target. They may have done seed funding, but they specialized in, and you fill in the blank, Web3, deep data or something, NFT or something where, it took time to research that. And the company that can fill the void, meaning here's the target that I'm going after, here's what I need to make sure that they do, and the AI that can actually scrape through all the data without having to read 4 or 5 different web pages, because that's especially on venture capital funding. most VCs don't have everything on one page. They've got it integrated a little bit here, and then you got to go to the about, and then you got to look at the portfolio, and then you got, you're looking at all these things that a human brain is processing to say, and you're using your head thinking, is this the right target, right? Is this the right POC? Is this the right industry focus? The company that nails that reduces that research time, that's the company that will win. And I think one of the big problems that we have in sales today is we target companies based upon SIC code, industry, vertical, size of company, employees. And what ends up happening is you throw in a bunch of companies, and a rep now horribly represents the brand, not because they want to, but because the company made them represent the brand bad. And you start spraying and praying that you're sending the right message to the right SIC code, to the right industry, to the right POC. And had I done that, by the way, I had the choice of spraying and praying to multiple VCs all at the same time. But what would that have done to my personal brand? Somebody would come back and said, why are you wasting my time sending me a question about investing when you clearly see that I'm in life sciences? Right? Like, I don't want that for my brand. So I think the company that nails, excuse me, I think the company that nails that will win, especially on the sales side of the house. All right, let's talk about some of the most influential AI tools that are currently available for sales teams. I heard you reference a couple of them. I referenced a couple of them. Let's talk about some of those most influential AI tools. But before you answer that question, we're going to listen to this message from our program sponsor.
Korn Ferry understands talent, and in the sales world, it's no different. Korn Ferry transforms sales teams using their world-class Miller-Hyman methodology, employee assessments, benchmarking, and talent advisory capabilities to increase win rates and quota attainment. Korn Ferry offers Korn Ferry Sell, a sales effectiveness app available in App Exchange and AppSource that helps your sales team develop and replicate powerful sales strategies that help sellers win more deals and crush their quotas. Learn more at kornferry.com/sales effectiveness. That's kornferry.com/sales effectiveness.
Okay, right before that break, I asked you, Oleg, about some of the most influential AI tools. I heard you say Gong for analyzing conversation. I mentioned Humantic and Crystal Knows for personality insights. What are some other ones?
I would mention one thing you didn't mention in the space of call analytics called Avama. Basically, it's similar to Gong, but the thing is that it's available without any sales call. You could just come and use it. And I think just one important notice is I want to mention, and I see how sales space is changing, that more product are getting available through product-led growth approach, where you can come and just use the product. And the same thing happened with ChatGPT. Why it becomes so popular, why it becomes so wild? Because you don't need to talk to sales rep to use it, right? You can go there and take it. So just today I read a LinkedIn post about one person saying why they choose Avoma, because while they were doing posts with Gong or some other tools, their sales rep just started using Avoma, and because they just went and registered. So I would mention, if you ask me for one tool, I would recommend to try this tool or suggest it, since we just started using it. And again, if you're looking for other AI tools, again, I hope that would be us, but I don't want to advertise ourselves here. And there's so much things in AI we could do, which I find to tell a bit later. And yeah, I think right now it's really a lot of tool popping up. There is no leader, so there is a lot of opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, well, I think there's also a lot. Everybody is jumping in on the bandwagon. I have AI in my software. HubSpot says they have AI in their software. Not.
Yep.
I don't know where it's at, but if it's there, it's certainly not able to tell
Yeah.
to help us. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
But there's analytics that's going on in the background, right? So
Yep.
there's the analytics AI that's analyzing something, and then there's an actual AI tool that's helping the salesperson in their day-to-day job. And that those two things are very different, if you would. Okay, good. So let's talk about the benefits that users see when leveraging AI. And I think, of course, you've got in reply, you've got Jason as an example. So perhaps it's a good opportunity to be able to talk about Jason and what benefits Jason might bring. But we could also contextually bring this along to some global specific solutions that or benefits as well.
Sure. Actually, while you were talking this, one tool from Microsoft came into my mind, and I'll tell about it as well. So basically, what we do with JSON, I think it's the same. I use the same process how I use like when creating reply. I've seen that there is work that's done manually and could be automated. With JSON, we see there is whole SDR process could be automated, and we're building JSON to automate it. There's different pieces to it, and I'll tell a bit later about it. So first, I want to talk about new product. It's called Microsoft Vivo. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Microsoft Vivo. It's product available for $40 per month, and what it does, it's reply to your emails automatically and it could have access to your CRM. And for example, if some customer like sending you email and asking, do you have 10 items of this product? That system could go automatically into your, and how much does it cost? That system could go Microsoft Viewer into Microsoft Dynamics CRM, see if you have on stock 10 items, check the price, and draft email for you saying, hey, we have 10 emails of this item at this price, and suggesting you to basically just reply with this text. And basically we see how much how much work automation can do, and human don't need to go to CRM to look for that information because computer is already have it, so it could draft the reply. And actually what we do similar things in reply. So like just today, I've seen the demo. We actually have it already ready using ChatGPT. We able, or actually GPT-3 API, since ChatGPT API not yet available, we are able to draft responses to like inbound emails. So whether it's like inbound emails from customers you receive, or you running outbound campaign and the customer replying to you, our system could engage in dialogue and suggest you responses to send. And that, I think that's the main magic that's happening, since again, before reply was system that we were sending personalized emails and follow up, and now we're becoming a system that could it's in our name, so we're able to reply to email thanks to this GPT-3 technology. So I think that's, and one thing that I want to mention, that will be tremendous competition in this space, since this unique idea is like really obvious, and it will be automated SDR, but by one of the providers. So you will pick who you want to hire. You want to hire real human, or you want to hire SDR from Microsoft or from Outreach or SalesLoft or Reply. And the race will be who make it better. Then again, since we see with technology, you could already automate some mundane routine communications, asking about pricing, asking about product information, or just booking back and forth emails to book a meeting. And basically, again, answering your question, what is reply? What is JSON AI? So JSON AI is the assistant that sit on top of our product reply and use all the instruments we have, from data, from lead generation to crafting emails to responding to these emails and booking meetings. So basically, it's assistants that use all this technology and do the whole process on your behalf. So basically, you would tell or describe your service. We would creative filters or actually will search for your ideal customer profile, will craft your ideal customer profile and search for this leads in our database, and will draft for you emails and send emails on your behalf. So I believe the software will change. So the user for software will be not like real human. The user of software will be the software will be used by AI. It could be like say JSON AI or Microsoft Vivo, and basically the human role or SDR role would be go and to check, hey, is it AI system works well? Is it everything set up correctly? So basically, what's the sense to pay for software and go do work in this software? You want to pay for software and make it work do for you, and that's actually where we going and what we're trying to do with JSON AI.
So in other words, I think what you're saying is that AI, some of the benefits that it can bring today is certainly help eliminate repetitive tasks and outreach, yeah, in terms of a global benefit. And it can certainly save time, increasing the productivity of an individual sales rep, so they can actually spend time thinking, right, about how to engage with a buyer and or how to move a sale along. And ultimately, theoretically, if the tools are doing their job correctly, it should help reps close more deals, theoretically, because they're scaling up their prospecting activities or helping coach them in terms of their actual performance and how they had a conversation with the buyer. Yeah,
That's correct. Yep. And one thing is I want to add, where we're moving, I think we contribute to this as well. And so as Outreach and Sales Loft, increasing number of unsolicited emails, right? Since since our prospects or our users not always know how to find the right prospects, so they may be just sending blast emails. And I believe this will change. The same how you come to YouTube and see videos you like. When you come to your inbox, you see emails only that you want to see. The first, it will be two filters. First, on your side, because they know what you're interested in, and second, it will be on buyer or like on vendor side filters. That's they will be able to show for reply or for any other vendors who is your customer who really need your product. And I think by this where we're moving, again, in all the sales and AI technology, that buyer and sellers will be connected much faster. And what will become really important, like in this world where you can differentiate, is the quality of your product, right? Since I think that's, and second, it's how well you could basically sell, or how good, let's say, relations you can establish in with prospect or with this buyer, or how professional you are with again, and your human interaction or your domain expertise when it comes to like sales call or showing the value to the user. So I believe again, a lot of where we heading, and I would like to see that world. Well, you would not need to go search for this VC customers. You will know right away here this 16 like investors that would be the best, and investors know right away here the like 100 startup that are the best based on your profile, on your need. So we'll eliminate a lot of how to say middleman. And I see this technology changing even like dating industry. Let's say, imagine if you could find, based on all information that's available about you on internet and all your like messages that you send, if you could, or all your preferences, imagine that if system could learn all the people and tell, hey, based on our data, historical and like marriage duration, we suggest you like take a look at this 100 person, and this type of personalities will our data show that this with these people there is much higher probability to have long lasting relationship. So I think that's again, as you said, I would say that technology is already there. It's just connecting all these pieces, and who do this, that's the question.
Roger that. Makes sense. So if I'm a sales leader and I'm thinking about incorporating AI to help scale my prospecting efforts, get my sellers to perform better? Where do I start? How should I be thinking about this?
Yeah, it's really good question. Since we're really right now, again, at the beginning of AI tools immersion, and this ChatGPT technology has been released recently, uh, you couldn't expect like really strong tools yet. So I think right now at this stage, it's really important to have broad view and just explore what is possible. And I believe like by the end of this year there will be more mature tools, and you could pick. But right now I believe we at this stage, and what I would suggest to all sales leaders, that's what I do. I just explore what's tools available, what is possible, and whoever start using these tools first, whoever adopts them first, will be how to say, will be winning the competition, will be getting some edge.
And the end outcome is ultimately improved customer engagement, customer satisfaction, creating happy customers. So in my opinion, right now, everything that I see from an AI perspective on the sales side, from the analytics side, certainly can help with conversation intelligence. For example, I use Gong, and Gong actually, the other day, I actually went into my HubSpot instance, and in that HubSpot instance, I actually needed to I needed to figure out what were the action items from this call that I did with this investor. So I opened up Gong, and I went to the parts where the investor was speaking, moved all the way to the end because I knew that's where we would recap the action items. And what was interesting was right inside there, as soon as I got to the part, it showed me exactly what I needed to have done. So I copied the text from the transcript. When I copied the text from the transcript and I pasted it into my HubSpot notes on next steps, it not only copied the text, but it auto-linked the actual call, and the words "link to snippet" popped up. And when you click on that URL, it took you exactly to Gong at that specific time in that area. And I thought, that is cool, because what I was about to do was copy the transcript, identify that the conversation took place at 29 minutes and 22 seconds, and it did it all for me. So it thought for me. Yeah. Now, that's not necessarily AI. That's more of a workflow that actually was thinking ahead. But as we talked about earlier, there's two sides of AI here that can help a sales team. One, it's improving their back end side, how I approach a customer, what I say to them, what my action items are. And then on the front side, which is the prospecting side, how do I scale that? How do I target? How do I write messaging that actually moves the needle? Yeah. So more what I'm looking for is how do you think AI can improve customer engagement and customer satisfaction, or does it?
It's a great question. I think right now there's a lot of sequence tools where you could create, let's say, sequence of emails, and you send it the same sequence. It's personalized a bit. There's templates for let's say 100 or 1,000 people using the same channels. But imagine if there will be AI that could not only customize each message, and that could actually, you will not need to create template sequence. Basically, the system in AI will create personalized sequence for each customer, or like individually, and will modify the sequence on a go based on their engagement level, based on channels they are in. Let's say someone on LinkedIn, someone on the phone, someone on an email. So I see this hyper personalization going to the next level, and